Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Jules Leyhe. I am back with some slide guitar tips and tricks. In this video, I have a very specific technique that I want to show you guys, and I want to give you an exercise so that you can actually start implementing it on your own. If you've seen my videos before, you'll recognize this technique. I didn't come up with it, although I'm a huge fan of it. And this is catching harmonics, using harmonics with slide guitar to sort of get this ethereal, almost like a theremin type of effect. And the coolest thing to me is that if you can get really good at this technique, it gets your right and left hands really talking to each other. And this is kind of the biggest key, I'd say, to getting your slide guitar voice together. If your right and left hands aren't really communicating, there's probably just going to be general amount of it's not even necessarily slop. It's just, the precision of what you're getting across is not going to be happening like it would be if your hands are really connected. So I've found that this technique really doesn't work unless your left and right hands are totally working together. So that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Now, really quick, before I hop in, I want to let everybody know I have a Derek Trucks slide guitar masterclass course that's out right now. This is a really in-depth dive into all of Derek's greatest techniques, licks, tricks, you name it. Everything Derek Trucks is really unpacked in this video. So I'd love it if you guys would check out that video if you haven't already. A lot of people have been telling me they absolutely love it, and I'm thrilled to hear that. It'll totally boost your slide guitar chops, so please go check that out if you haven't already. All right, now to the meat and potatoes of what we're talking about in today's video. So I'm mentioning this, let me demonstrate it first. I'll just play a little bit, and I'm going to do way too much of this. This is kind of like I like to sprinkle this sort of technique in a little bit, but not a ton usually. So I'm really overdoing it in this video. We're just going to focus on this one technique. I would recommend, this is, I used to be a magician back in the day. Before I played guitar, I was a magician. And I just remember, you need to show a trick once and then move on. The moment you do a trick twice or three times, is even that second time, what made it magical might be kind of wearing off already. So just a word to the wise out there, you don't want to overdo this technique when you're actually playing. But let me just completely overdo it now since we're in the workshop here. And I like to do this first on the B string. And I like to use the 12th fret harmonic. And it sounds something like this. Here it is first. I'll play with it and then I'll explain what I'm doing. So you can see what I'm doing is I'm hitting the 12th fret harmonic, and if you know me already, you know that I'm using a volume pedal. So I like to hit the harmonic with the volume pedal drawn all the way back. This is not a rule. It's just nice to sort of hide the attack of the note so that all of a sudden I've got this harmonic that I'm sliding around, and it's goes back to my magician days, right? It's kind of this like magic trick, like where'd that note come from? The trick is hitting it with the volume pedal all the way back, and then I'll slide it around. So I'm going to hit the 12th fret harmonic on the B string, and then the first time I bring the toe up to actually kind of present the note, I'm going to be on an E already at the 5th fret. So check this out. That sounds like this. Right? You see? Okay, so what I did is I caught the harmonic. And let me explain this. The way that I like to teach this and sort of explain it and think about this is it's like an airplane coming into land. Your slide is the airplane, and it's coming into land on the runway. That is the string. And so I think of this as like, you got to land it as softly and smoothly and with as much control as you can, kind of in between the nut and the 1st fret, I'd say. If you get too far up the string, this is what happens. Now I'm just going to go toe down so that you can actually hear the attack, but let me just demonstrate some kind of clunky and then more graceful ways of playing this. And this is exactly what I'd recommend you guys try. Don't be afraid to totally mess this up and really suck at it. I have spent so much time just not doing this correctly. It took a long time to really feel this comfortably and correctly and to just be able to hit it consistently. So toe up so you can just hear all the attacks. Here's what I would and wouldn't do. This is me sort of workshopping, landing the slide, catching the fret, catching the harmonic, pardon. And this sort of attention to detail is how you improve your slide guitar playing. So just do this sort of thing. If you're working on a lick and it's not about catching harmonics, I just milk a lick over and over and over until I am done. You know, I've played it poorly. I've played it great. I've played it every little in-between way there is, right? So here we go. I'm going to try to catch this harmonic and just experiment with it. Still, same thing, B string, 12th fret. Here we go. So I didn't really catch it there, right? Let me try to go a little closer to the nut and the first fret. Same thing. That one was way better. Hear how awesome that is when you get the reverb trail right at the end, and it's like, oh, that's what I want. I love that sound. Now I have probably more distortion and maybe more reverb than a lot of people really like. This is not like I wouldn't consider this a really bluesy slide guitar sound right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. This is just kind of the zone I'm in. This totally works if you're playing with a bluesier sound. This isn't the least bluesy sound, but I would just that's something else that I really like about slide is just not playing all the cliche stuff that you expect. To me, one of the best parts of this lick and this sound is that this is not just like right? I love all that vocabulary, but this is sort of another layer of playing slide. This is, this is not just like a position-based thing. I have all sorts of room to say my own little side of the story with this technique. Okay, so that's the technique. You saw me kind of catch it better, and there were some times that were better. The harmonic really sang when I caught it down, like kind of at the 0.5 fret, right in between the nut and the first fret. That was better than catching it at the third fret. So just pay attention to that when you're trying this on your own. Now here's an exercise that I would give you to actually apply this technique, because it can be kind of weird. You're just catching this note and then you might not know what the heck to do with it, right? So what I would do is actually exactly what I did. I would try to catch the note, the B string 12th fret, and then I'm going to, while we're on the B string, I'm going to think of this in the key of E. And I'm going to play either the E major or E minor pentatonic scale, you can go from B to B. You can even go from B down here, like the harmonic, up to the high E at the 17th fret, right? So that's a great thing to do. Let me demonstrate that. I would try both major and minor pentatonic for the intervallic changes, right? They're not the same. It's really good to catch this harmonic and then have a little melody to play, or in this case, two melodies, the major and the minor pentatonic. So let me just do the minor first, and I'm going to just go up and down, and then I'm going to try to kind of turn it into a run, because this really has that gospel soul singer sound, that quality to it. Obviously, we've taken the frets away by playing slide, but now that it's up this higher octave and we're taking the attack away, I think this is one of those like, this really gets us into sounding like a soul singer, and just gets a lot of the like this is quintessential slide guitar territory right here. So here's E minor pentatonic on the B string, catching the B harmonic first. I'm going to just go up and down, and that's what I want you to try first. But then if you get good at catching it, try to play with it and try to just see how long you can keep the harmonic going. Another thing, and I'm sorry I'm blabbing about this, there's just a lot to say. Another thing is that you can't attack the note again. You can do a little thing, I'll show you in a sec. You can physically hit another harmonic, but right now we kind of want to get the absolute most bang for our buck out of that first attack. So here we go. Here's E minor pentatonic on the B string. Try to do this yourselves at home. So you can see, I basically played it up, and some of those were better than others. This is a difficult technique. I don't just have the note, 100% of the time. I probably need more gain. And I don't want to get too gainy. This is already plenty of gain for what I'm doing right here. But you can see it was a little bit different every time. Now let me do that same concept, only I'm going to change it from the minor pentatonic to the major. This has that, slightly more, well, it's actually a lot more sweet of a sound. And neither is better, but it's great to have both in your back pocket. And of course, the name of the game ends up being kind of mixing and matching the minor and the major, and ultimately not thinking, oh, well, this is my flat third, so therefore it's minor, but you're just kind of singing with your guitar, So that's what I want you to get out of this. Let's hear how it sounds with the major pentatonic scale. Same string, okay? B string, 12th fret harmonic. Here's the E major pentatonic. So that's really fun. I love all that. And then obviously, I just kind of alluded to where this goes, but mixing your major and minor, and not just having, not being so strict. If you're hip to blues playing at all and this sort of slide gospel singing, style, you're already aware of, it's not just major, it's not just minor. There's all sorts of blending the two. And this really, to me, let me blend the two for just a sec, just to show you exactly what I mean. But this to me is where, so much space for you to make this your own. And I'd encourage you to try that. Don't be afraid of just totally having it suck first. You can always keep going at it, and you'll find your sort of, your lane with this type of technique. But here we go. Here's kind of now mixing the two, right? Now, I didn't only play the harmonic there. That's kind of tough. It's a little limiting to just play the harmonic, right? So I was including the harmonic, and remember the first thing I said is you don't want to just start only playing a harmonic and slide it around. That's not the goal here. This is to give you that little kind of, sprinkle on top. Like if you're going to play a solo and you want something to just have the crowd totally remember you by. This is the type of thing that I love to do like once at the end of a solo or something. It's really like an exclamation point, right? You get it. I'm hammering home the idea so that you guys get it. You just don't want to overdo this. You don't want to overdo anything. Um, but yeah, so now, and I was showing you all of that on the B string. You might find this easier on the E string. The only trick is that you really do have to be kind of careful about, you don't want to hear other strings ringing out. And that actually might make it easier on the high E string. Uh, I do like it on the B string. I think there's something about, I don't know, maybe like a little more meat on the string. The fact that the string is just a little thicker might be pleasing to me. You can do this on any string, and you can do it with other harmonics too. So what I mean by that is, like, sure, we've got these 12th fret harmonics, but you can do it with a 7th fret harmonic. You can do it with a 5th. There are these other, if you guys are hip to them, there are all these harmonics by like just by the 4th fret, just past the 3rd fret. You can do it with those as well. Let me show you with the high E string 7th fret harmonic. I find that these aren't quite as strong. So the 12th fret is kind of my most, I lean on that one the very most. But let's see how the 7th fret on the E string sounds. First of all, here's my 12th fret. Kind of missed that one. Let me try again. Caught that one. Here's that 7th fret. That one's way up there, right? Like your neighbor's dog is going like, what's that going on over there? That one's way up there, and that's very cool. Now here's the other thing that I mentioned a minute ago. You can play a harmonic anywhere. And the way that you do that, I'm going to demonstrate by, I'm going to play a G note on the high E string, but I'm going to play a harmonic. And this is a little reference to a track that I'm sure everybody knows. This is a good way to practice the pinched harmonic. Now, this is not a pinch harmonic like you might pinch with your thumb, or like when you're using a pick. You would pick the string into your thumb and get a pinch. This is different. This is where we're going to take our right hand, and your index is going to put, you're going to put your index finger right on the 15th fret. And now this is directly above the fret. That's the trick to making this ring really clearly. So if you pick right above the fret, 12 frets above the note that we're fretting. Okay, in this case, it's a G. So we're going to fret at the 15th, pinch at the 15th fret. It sounds like this. Okay, and again, if I just leave the toe up, it sounds like this. Here's the note. Here's the harmonic. So here's the lick that I would encourage you to practice this pinched harmonic with. Check this out. You'll recognize this. Recognize that from Sleepwalk, Santo and Johnny? That's one of my all-time favorite slide guitar tracks. It's actually with a lap steel, like a stand-up steel guitar. But this is how the effect is done. It's a pinch harmonic. And so you can see the notes are G, A, E, B. And the trick is to keep that note going while you slide up, right? If I don't do the harmonic, it sounds like this. So it's really nice to get that harmonic in there. Okay? So you can do that anywhere you want to play a note. F on the 6th fret of the B string. Just go up here to the 18th fret of the B string. Right? There you go. Any note you want. You can do any string. You could do the 7th fret harmonic if you want. Just, just go to town on this technique. That's it for this video. I wanted to just kind of highlight a couple of techniques that I really do think are you might see people do this sort of thing and kind of wonder, oh wow, well, how do they do that? And I think if you start to mess around with this sort of thing, you're going to understand all of your kind of more like in the box licks way more. And the things that were tough for you before are going to be easier if you have some kind of higher level technique like this when it comes to your slide playing. So I hope you guys really enjoyed that. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet already. I'm going to have interviews, performances, lessons, all sorts of stuff coming out all the time. So I really want to invite you to join in on the fun. Thank you for checking out this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Jules Leyhe. I'm thrilled to announce that my Derek Trucks Slide Guitar Masterclass is now available. This class is over 2 hours of in-depth study of Derek Trucks' greatest licks, his signature sounds. Everything that you're going to learn in this course is designed to make you a better player and ultimately make you sound more like yourself. I'm a Berklee College of Music graduate and a professional musician of the last 15 years. I've shared the stage with Buddy Guy, Jimmy Vaughn, Chris Kane, and a slew of other blues greats. They've taken me under their wing and have taught me so many things that I want to now share with you guys. Check the link in my bio or julesleyhemusic.com to get your Derek Trucks Slide Guitar Masterclass today.